Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down the NHL DFS slate for Tuesday, February 21st. We got ourselves a 9-game slate here tonight where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite value plays, and then we'll wrap up today's video talking a little prize picks. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals, where you can see 2 of these games are coming in with an implied total of 7 goals, 5 games coming in at 6.5 goals, and then 2 games here coming in at 6 goals even. And then take a look down here at the Vegas odds, where you can see each team who's favored to win tonight. We got some really heavy favorites on this slate. And here's a schedule update for this week. We'll have a video out for you guys Tuesday through Friday, breaking down each one of those NHL DFS slates. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight. Now, being that it's a 9-game slate that is projecting to be very high scoring, there are a lot of different line stacks that really stuck out to me. One line that I like here is that second line for the New Jersey Devils. We got Hughes centering Sharangovich and Bratt. They're in a great spot here tonight at home against the Montreal Canadiens, a team that struggled defensively really all year long, having allowed 3.66 goals per game. That's the 4th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 73.7% rate. That is the 5th worst in the NHL. Now you're going to see Hughes and Bratt play up on the number 1 power play. Sharangovich really doesn't see much time on the special teams, but at $3,500, I think he is worth justifying at that price. You could do a 3-man stack with Hughes, Bratt, and Dougie Hamilton if you wanted to as well. I really like that. Essentially getting exposure to 3 guys on that number 1 power play. And for what it's worth, I think that first line is fine as well. If Hischier centering Tatar and Mercer, I just prefer the second line a little bit more, as I do believe they have more upside. And then a cheaper contrarian line stack I like here tonight is that first line for the Vancouver Canucks. We got Pettersson centering Kuzmenko and Beauvillier. I like this matchup here tonight against the Nashville Predators, who have really struggled since the All-Star break, having allowed 3.67 goals per game with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 71.5% rate. And I really like the correlation between these 3, because not only do they play big minutes together 5-on-5, but all 3 are currently playing up on the number 1 power play as well. Now folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. And don't forget, I am running that Discord channel too. If you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. We got a great group of people in there talking some hockey and talking some prize picks as well. Alright, now diving into some of my favorite individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. And the first guy I got there is Zach Hyman of the Edmonton Oilers. Now, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record here if you've watched my videos this year when I talk about the Oilers. Nobody shuffles their top lines more than this team. They're always rolling out new lines 5-on-5, but for the most part, we see Zach Hyman play up on the first line with McDavid or on the second line with Draisaitl, or hell, they roll out those 3 guys together, which is why I prefer him, because he gets time on that number 1 power play too. We'll look at the lines here today prior to puck drop. If we get word that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is going to play up on that first line with McDavid, then I like him a little bit more considering his price tag. But this is a team here in the Oilers that leads the NHL with 3.75 goals per game, with the best power play in the NHL, scoring at a 31.3% rate. So I definitely like to get exposure to them tonight in a good matchup at home against the Flyers. I then got Brain Point there of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, I mentioned earlier I really like a number of different line stacks here tonight on this 9-game slate. And one of the lines I'll be targeting is that first line for the Lightning. We got point centering Hagel and Kucherov. They're sitting in a great matchup at home here tonight against the Anaheim Ducks, who are not only playing on back-to-back nights after losing in Florida last night to the Panthers, but this is a team that's given up a league-high 4.16 goals per game. They allow the most shots on net per game in the NHL. They have the 4th worst penalty kill and have taken the 2nd most minor penalties. So this, like I said, is a great matchup for the Tampa Bay Lightning in general, and Braden Point has been fantastic when playing at home this year. His home and road splits are pretty glaring. Now, he's played fine on the road, 23 points in 28 games, but look at his home splits here. 37 points in 27 games, racking up 21 goals, and he definitely hasn't been afraid to shoot the puck. Now, one game I like targeting in general here tonight is that game between the Predators and Canucks. Neither team has played very well defensively here since the All-Star break, and the Vancouver Canucks have struggled defensively all year long, allowing the second most goals per game. That hasn't changed here since the All-Star break, allowing 4.71 goals per game, the second most just behind the Anaheim Ducks, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 65% rate. So again, I like targeting this game in general. Duchene's price really stuck out to me here as well at $5,300, especially for someone who's got 25, 30 plus DraftKings point upside. He plays on that first line, plays on the number one power play, and you can see he's racked up 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points here in his last 10 games. Next, I got Teuvo Teravainen of the Carolina Hurricanes, and I really like the way he's played here over the past month, and he's even turned it up another notch here since the All-Star break, albeit just 4 games. I like the way he's played in those games, racking up 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points, and averaging 4 shots on net per game as well. He's currently playing on the second line and up on the number one power play, and I really just like the matchup at home in general tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes against the St. Louis Blues, a team that struggled defensively all year long themselves, having allowed the 5th most goals per game. That has not changed for them since the All-Star break, having allowed 4 goals per game, the 4th most in the NHL during that stretch, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 66.7% rate. And then I got Ryan O'Reilly there of the Toronto Maple Leafs, another team that I'll have my eye on in general here tonight in a good matchup against the Buffalo Sabres. And we've talked about the Sabres quite a bit this year, a team that has definitely improved. I like the future for them, but they still struggle a bit defensively, and goaltending can be a little shaky. They've allowed 4.25 goals per game here since the All-Star break, 3rd most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 66.7% rate. I not only like the price here for Ryan O'Reilly, but I really like the opportunity he's getting on that second line, playing with John Tavares and Mitch Marner, and he's also getting time on that number 2 power play. And I know it's been quite some years, but we have the sneaky revenge narrative here, playing against his former team in the Buffalo Sabres. Plus, he just wants to make an impact early on his new team. I know he has 1 assist so far in 2 games, but expect him to just get better on that second line, playing with 2 really talented wingers going forward. Now, moving over here to the defensemen, and I'm highlighting 3 guys that I'm trying to stack up with forwards on the same power play. I believe every one of these guys can be played individually too, but I'm primarily trying to stack them up with those forwards. Dougie Hamilton here, the New Jersey Devils, talked about that matchup against the Montreal Canadiens, who have had the 5th worst penalty kill in the NHL this year, hitting at a 73.7% rate. Victor Hedman talked about that matchup against the Anaheim Ducks, who've had the 4th worst penalty kill in the NHL this year, hitting at a 73.2% rate. Brady Shea loved this price here at $4,400. Production for him has slipped a little bit offensively as of late, but again, I love the matchup here at home against the St. Louis Blues. At the penalty kill that's hit at a 75.2% rate, the 9th worst in the NHL. So those are my top 3 defensemen here tonight, but I do got some honorable mentions there as well. We got Graves of the New Jersey Devils, Barrie of the Edmonton Oilers, Parayko of the St. Louis Blues, Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers, Sandin, if he plays tonight, I know he's day-to-day, of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Jones there of the Chicago Blackhawks. I should also mention that there are 2 other top-tier guys that I would be willing to pay up for tonight. Roman Josi against Vancouver looks like a sweet spot for him, and then Shea Theodore, I also like the matchup for him against the Chicago Blackhawks. And then I got a couple of goaltenders there for you, higher priced and kind of a mid-priced option, if you will. Vitek Vanacek of the New Jersey Devils. Since Christmas, he has been fantastic, and you could argue he's playing the best hockey of his NHL career during that stretch. In his last 10 games, he's 9-0-1 with the goals allowed average of 2.23 and a save percentage of .924. And obviously, as you can see there, the Devils are heavy favorites tonight at home against Montreal. And then Ville Husso there of the Detroit Red Wings. I like the way he's played as of late too, going 7-3-0 in his last 10 games. His goals allowed average isn't the best at 2.50, but his save percentage is absolutely fine at .919, averaging close to 16 DraftKings points per game, and I kind of like the matchup on the road here tonight against the Washington Capitals, who I believe are still going to be missing Alex Ovechkin and have lost 4 straight games. And as always, going to wrap up the spreadsheet here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. Notice I got some honorable mentions there as well if you want to check them out. But the first guy I got there on the spreadsheet is William Carrier of the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who currently plays on the 3rd line in number 2 power play. He's played well here over his last 10 games, and just since the All-Star break he's played 5, having racked up 3 goals, 2 assists, and 16 shots on net. Next is Dawson Mercer, who I kind of name-dropped earlier when highlighting that second line for the New Jersey Devils. Like I said, I'm okay with that first line as well, where you're going to see Mercer play. He also gets time on that number 2 power play, and he's currently riding a 3-game goal streak right now, where he's racked up 4 goals, 1 assist, and 14 shots on net. And then Warren Foegele there of the Edmonton Oilers, currently playing on the 3rd line in number 2 power play, has played some weirdly good hockey here as of late. 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points, with 34 shots on net over his past 10 games, averaging close to 12 DraftKings points per game. Not bad at all for a guy priced at $3,200. And then to wrap up this video here, want to talk a little prize picks with you guys. Now for starters, if you have not signed up for prize picks yet, but you want to get in on this action, I got a promo code that you should definitely take advantage of. When you're signing up, use my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF, and PrizePicks will give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Now, folks, take advantage of that because they're offering that deposit right away. You don't have to earn it back as a bonus like some of these other DFS sites here. No, if you put in $100 today or even put in $50, they'll match whatever you have up to $100. Again, as long as you're using my promo code GRIFF, GRIFF, upon signing up. Now, for those of you who have signed up for Prize Picks, you guys know my plan of attack here, and actually as I'm recording, they just added some goalie props, so they're adding more here as I'm going through this. You guys know my plan of attack. I'm going to do my research, go through these individually, and then let you know my final picks in a comment below on this video, and I'll be sure to pin that comment as well. I'm also posting those picks in my Discord channel too, and if you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 9-game slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.